the main thing that we're going to try and get done in today's stream is get a quantum quarry from extra utilities, because as I've mentioned before, if we are going to get into this final quest line, and if we're going to get all of the singularities required to make all of the antimatter catalysts required to complete the final tier of quests here, we are going to have a ton of resources, and I think one of the best ways for us to get that is going to be through the quantum quarry. For example here, if we look at, let's go with like the Lithium Singularity. I've been told by the Twitch chat that we need 45 of these guys, 45 antimatter catalysts to beat the Modpack. The reason for that is not because all of these items together only use 45 catalysts, they actually require a lot more than that. However, if you can get the creative ME storage cell, you can then generate infinite antimatter catalysts using that. So to get to 45, if we take that Lithium Singularity as an example, we need 45 lots of 5,000 lithium, right? So 45 multiplied by 5,000, as we've seen before, is 225,000 lithium. Each lithium we can get from, for example, one lithium ingot. You get 16 at a time, so if we divide 225,000 by 16, that would mean that we would need just over 14,000 lithium in order to get all of the lithium element required to get enough singularities to make the ME cell. Right now, I think we have like 2,000 lithium, 2,500, and that's after all of these laser drills have been running for quite some time, right? Multiple days, if not weeks, depending on which laser drill we're talking about. And so in the interest of not waiting, even more weeks, if not months, to get up to 14,000 lithium, I think we're going to have to speed the process up using the quantum quarry. Now, before we do that, though, that's going to be put on the back burner for later on in the stream. I do want to start by addressing a different issue that we've had for quite some time, and that is that our nuclear craft machines are quite slow, and speeding them up is quite expensive. We can, of course, rectify that by teaching our system how to make speed upgrades and energy upgrades. Up until now, we've not been doing that. The speed upgrades are actually super easy. We can teach those, right away. Here we have all of the stuff to make them, and we have all the stuff to make a lot of them. If we would like, it's just a pressure plate, encode, and lapis and redstone, encode. We can throw those in over in here. The tricky part was always the energy upgrades, because these require obsidian, right? They require a gold pressure plate, again, easy enough. Crushed nether quartz, also fairly easy. How are we doing on nether quartz right now? We've got 2,500, so again, not really a problem. The problem for us up until this point has been obsidian. As of right now, we don't have a way to get infinite obsidian, but as it turns out, it's really not going to be that difficult for us to get it, because we can go back to this guy that we looked at right at the start of the series. The lava infused stone is going to allow us to automate the production of obsidian fairly easily, and we can actually do it with refined storage if we get a constructor and a destructor. So neither of these are too difficult to make. They're both from refined storage. They're both basically the same recipe, just with the top core here swapped out. And so we should basically, I think, have everything that it takes to make the constructor, and we should also have basically everything that it takes to make the destructor, like so. And basically, what we're going to do, and I think we'll do this around back here, because we don't really need to have this kind of in sight, but what we are going to do is we're going to first put down a sound muffler, because the breaking of obsidian can get quite loud, as can the turning of obsidian into water. And then we're going to have the lava-infused stone down right about here. Next to that lava-infused stone, we're going to have a block, which I'll leave this block here actually for now. We're going to have two sides of this block. One is going to be the constructor. That's actually fine. I was going to put it down at the bottom. And you know what I will do, just for symmetry's sake? We'll have the destructor down here and the constructor down here, like that. Basically, what we can do here is the constructor, we can set to type fluids. So now this is going to be able to place fluids into the block in front of it. So we're going to get rid of this Zen block. We're going to grab a bucket of water. And remember, our system does now have access to infinite water thanks to this portable tank over here. So inside of the constructor, we're going to tell it to place down water. And so what that's going to do, and it's kind of hard to see because it instantly turned into obsidian, but what that's going to do is it's going to take the water from any source of water connected to the system, in our case, this one right here, and it's going to place that water down in front of the lava-infused stone. The lava-infused stone then does its thing and turns that into obsidian. We can then grab some more cable, which I thought we had a lot more of, but that's fine. We can always go ahead and request like another stack of cable there. And as soon as we have that, we can then go ahead and connect up the destructor, which will just break anything that is in front of it. And so now we essentially have a fully automated obsidian generating system. This guy here is going to keep placing down water. The lava-infused stone is going to keep turning that water into obsidian. And then the destructor is going to continually break that obsidian and place it into the system. Now, of course, we probably don't want infinite obsidian. We don't want like all of our obsidian forever and ever clogging up the system here. And there are two things we could do here. We could either give obsidian a draw and put a void upgrade on that draw. That would, keep generating the obsidian, but would eventually, start deleting it once we had too much of it. Alternatively, we could also use the detector from refined storage, which I think is probably going to be the better way to go about this, simply due to the fact that the detector is going to actually turn the system off once we get to a certain amount of obsidian. The reason this is better is mostly due to the fact that we're playing on a server, and it means that once we get to a certain amount of obsidian, the whole system will stop, and therefore it's not going to cause like any excess lag going forward. So this guy is actually pretty easy to make. It does require two comparators here. We're just waiting on the stone to come in. Perfect. Once we have that, we can take the detector, and you can put this down basically next to any block. We're, of course, going to put it down right here. I think this will work. But basically, what you can do here is you can set this to detect items in your system. For example, we'll go ahead and set this to detect obsidian. We're then going to say in here to emit a redstone signal when above a certain amount. So there's a few different modes here. You can go under, over, or at. We're going to go with over. So when we have, let's say, more than 2,047 obsidian, that's the amount that one storage drawer can hold. Once we have more than 2,047 obsidian, stop making obsidian. That's basically what we're telling our system to do right now. Let me test this by bringing that number down to 200. And let's make sure that this destructor here is set to only work without a redstone signal. So you'll see now it stopped working. The reason it stopped working is that we have more than 200 obsidian. If I change this to 2,000, this guy comes back online because now the detector is no longer emitting a redstone signal. So this now is going to keep going until we have 2,000 obsidian. Once we have 2,000 obsidian, that's when this is going to stop and no more obsidian is going to be made. Nice. And so that finally leads us back around to being able to teach our system how to make the energy upgrades, which are definitely the more important of the two. We already have quite a few speed upgrades, but if we want to keep our redstone flux per tick usage down, we need a ton of these energy upgrades. And I think we finally have pretty much everything that we need to make them. So we'll encode all of these subparts here. The pulverized obsidian, I think we are going to do in the manufacturing, because once we have all of the speed and energy upgrades in there, the manufacturing can be a lot faster than the pulverizer. So let's go ahead and encode. And we'll do the same with the quartz as well if we can. We totally can. Encode. Nice. So I think that's basically everything here. We'll put the obsidian and the quartz up there. We'll put the pressure plates and the energy upgrades in over here, the big old multi-block crafter. And at that point, we should be able, if we give the system a second to catch up, we should be able to request, let's say like 100, or I guess you want to go with like 128, that's 2 stacks of energy upgrades, start and start, at which point that is going to kick into gear and begin making all of the stuff. It's going to start pulverizing the nether quartz over here in the manufacturing. Of course, that is very, very slow. We can go ahead and speed that up with energy upgrades. That's currently using 16,000 redstone flux, so maybe we'll tame it down just a little bit. But as those come in, we can start putting them into the manufacturing to really bring that energy usage down and pump the speed up even more, which is definitely going to help us going forward. It's going to make basically everything that we have going on here faster. It's going to allow us to make all of our alloys more quickly. It's going to allow us to make things like signalum and enderium more quickly. It's going to allow us to make the uranium over here more quickly for our reactor as well. It's going to speed up all of the stuff which is definitely going to be needed if we're going to get up to, you know, all of the stupidly high amounts of numbers that we need for the singularities. So while we wait for all of the energy upgrades to come in, I think we should, at this point in time, have everything that we need in order to get this guy, our first Neutronium Compressor, which is the block within which we make all of the singularities required for this antimatter catalyst. So it's a little pricey, mostly due to the fact that it requires a bunch of these Neutronium ingots. Thankfully, we did make a few more of these neutron collectors in the last stream, and we do now have 38 Neutronium ingots, 343 Neutronium nuggets, and 3,091 piles of neutrons. We don't have all of those, but they all, you know, add up together to make 38 ingots there. So we will go ahead and see if we can't make that happen. I think we do have it all. I will teach my system how to make it. So let's go ahead and request another extreme crafting pattern and teach it in here. Not only because that's going to make it easier for me to request it and craft it, but also because I think we are going to need multiple of these going forward. So we'll shift click in the recipe for the compressor. We will encode that, and then we do need to put that in the crafter that's above my extreme crafting table, which I think I put back here. I did, yeah. It's in such a bizarre location, but we should now be able to request at least one of those compressors. Start, and oh, we're missing a block of neutronium and 3 hoppers. I was really under the impression that my system knew how to make hoppers, but that is fine. We can go ahead and teach it that. Does it know how to make chests? It totally does. And then we might as well, if we're going to want to automate this, teach it how to make the blocks of neutronium as well. Throw those both in over here. And at that point, we should finally be able to request that compressor. Start. And not too long later, it's done. Nice. So that is that quest complete. Nice and easy. This quest here, going to be a lot more difficult to complete. And this quest here, going to be even more difficult to complete. But essentially now, I do not believe that these require any power. You just put the items in, and it will start making the corresponding singularity. And I think the very first singularity that we want to start working on is probably going to be the mineral salt singularity. The reason for that is that I've had, you know, we're playing on a Patreon server, so other people have done this, and it turns out if you put down a lot of evaporators, they can get pretty laggy pretty quickly, and so I want to try and not put down so many, but just have them running for a longer period of time. On top of that, if we're going to make 45 mineral salt singularities, unlike all of the other singularities, the mineral salt one does require 20,000 mineral salt per singularity. And given that we need 45 of them, that means that we need just shy of 1 million mineral salt in order to get all of the singularities required to make that ME drive. So I think what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to get quite a few of these evaporators. We do actually have an evaporator set up outside that has not moved since we first put it down. That is this one right here. So we do currently have a 16,000 mineral salt advantage. But really, I don't think that's going to be, you know, a drop in the bucket compared to the million mineral salt that we need. So let's start by getting, I guess, a few more of these evaporators. I don't know really what a good number of evaporators are going to be. Does anybody have the number in the Twitch chat? How long does this take to make one salt? So we've crunched some numbers, and it looks like approximately 52 evaporators will take 4 days to get us all of the salt we need. And so I think that's where we're going to go. We currently have 3, 4, 5. Let's request 50 more. And start. That really shouldn't take too long to pull all those together. And I think we will probably just dump them directly into, like all of it directly into the compressor. You know, I don't think we're going to bother with some kind of intermediary storage, like a storage drawer or something. Because then we'd have to upgrade that to potentially be able to hold 900,000 salt. So we can just have everything pumped directly into this compressor. Which is still going to be quite janky, but I think is definitely doable. And I guess we'll use item ducts to pull all those in. So we now have 50 plus evaporators, and we also have 57 infinite water sources. The idea here being that each infinite water source, this is the lowest tier, but each one produces enough water for one evaporator. This saves us having to get a bunch of fluid conduits around, and I think in general it might be a bit less laggy because there's no like calculations in terms of sending which fluids where. It's just each infinite water source pumps water into each evaporator. That's the idea. From there, we're also going to need to get more item ducts, at least 52. Right now we have 16. We should have, I think, everything that we need to make some of these. We do need more hardened glass, but we did just request some pulverized obsidian. So making a stack of hardened glass, not going to be a problem. And then from there, requesting all of these item ducts, also not going to be a problem either. And I think here we probably want to go with a retriever, much like what we've done with the neutron compressors over there. I think we can just have item ducts on all of the evaporators and then one retriever that pulls all of the salt out of all of those evaporators and around to our compressor. So I will go ahead and request 2 Enderium ingots. We'll go with the highest tier here. I think that makes a lot of sense. It might not be fast enough, but I think it probably will be. Perfect. And we've also concluded that it is going to be best to set this up in the Atom dimension. And you know what? Real quick, I'm going to make an angel block because the Atom dimension is quite busy and quite full of guys that don't want me to remain alive. And so I think what we can do, and actually I guess we should do, yeah, and all we can do is we can just start building up in the sky so that we don't have to deal with them. If we just start like up here, the angel block, by the way, you can place it anywhere in the world and it just works. We probably do want to have our wand though, assuming that the wand can place down evaporators, which I'm really hoping that it can. It totally can. Nice. Okay. So let's see if we can't get all of these down. It is quite a few of them, but not a crazy amount. And that looks to be all of them there. And then we want to place all of these along the back. Again, I'm hoping we can do this. We totally can. Perfect. That should start to fill all of these up with water. Again, it should be giving them more than enough water to continually produce salt. And then from there, all we need to do is, again, a quick slash home. Let's go and grab this guy. Take him back with us. And for now, I think we'll put this down just right here. And then we're going to have item ducts connected to all of these with the single retrieval node right there. That should pull all of the salt from all of the evaporators down into that compressor. So it does have to go to the top of the neutron compressor. They can't accept from the side. But that is working. It's receiving the salt there. It does look like, bizarrely, it looks like the neutron compressor could be our bottleneck as well. Like occasionally, it's obviously not there now, but a second ago it was kind of full on salt, like it was up at 64. I don't foresee that being an issue. It could just be that we had like a little backlog there from the first few seconds of the evaporators running. But yeah, this is basically going to stay here for like the next 4 days. And hopefully in that time, we're going to get up to somewhere close, if not more than 45 salt singularities. And yeah, hopefully in that time, we'll also manage to get all of the other singularities going. But that is the one that I think is going to take the longest, and also is the one that we can't really, like, we could obviously put down 10,000 mineral salt evaporators. Like, they're really not that hard to make, but it does get super laggy super quick if we put too many of those down. The Twitch chat has also reminded me very much so that I should chunk load that, which is a very sensible thing to do. I will claim and chunk load this area here. So now that that's taken care of, chat, the other thing, circling right back around to the start of today's stream that I want to work on, is the quantum quarry. This guy right here. To make it, you need 1 quantum quarry, and then 6 quantum quarry actuators. The multi-block looks like this guy right here. I don't think that's going to be too difficult for us to make. The actuators are pretty easy. They require some stone burnt, some endstone, an end rod, and a diamond pickaxe. So if we can go ahead and get 6 diamond pickaxe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The endstone, do we have any endstone? We do, perfect. We could of course go get more if we wanted to from the end. We do need 6 end rods. I've been told that end cities don't spawn in the end in this mod pack. However, we can make end rods. They're made with blaze rods, popped chorus fruit, and then americium, I think is how that's pronounced. Do we have any popped chorus fruit? We have 3 popped chorus fruit. Do we have any regular chorus fruit? We do not, so we are going to have to head back through to the end. That's completely fine. So let's get those smelting. Perfect. That should be all of the popped chorus fruit that we need. We also need, of course, this americium. Now, you can get americium through nuclear craft. Like, you can get these, different isotopes of americium through a lot of fuel reprocessing. However, it's a lot easier to get it through the fusion multi-block that we set up in the last stream. This guy right here. Americium has an atomic number of 95. Uranium has an atomic number of 92. So if we combine uranium with the element that has atomic number 3, which I believe to be a lithium, it's hydrogen, helium, then lithium, we should be able to make this fairly easily. So if we take uranium, we combine that with lithium, we don't actually need the ingots, we need the element. We can put you in here, you in here. Those two should combine together into americium. Nice. Now we do need 6 end rods, which means 6 ingots worth of americium. Each ingot worth of americium, of course, requires 16 americium element. So we are going to require quite a bit of that. That shouldn't really be a problem. We do have a ton of uranium. And although we don't have a ton of lithium in element form, we can get that fairly easily. So we'll take out the americium that's in there. And then while we wait for that extra stack there to be made, if we're going to make the quantum quarry itself, we need a magical snow globe. The magical snow globe is acquired by getting a regular snow globe and taking it to 7 of the following dimensions. And you'll see there's a bunch of, not dimensions, biomes. You'll see there are 7 biomes or a bunch of biomes listed beneath. You have to go to at least 7 of those biomes. So thankfully, the snow globe is not too difficult to make. It does require some grass, which thankfully we can make. And it also requires a door, which also really shouldn't be a problem for us, though we are going to have to make it out of dark oak, but that's fine. Perfect. And then I think I do want to make more than one of these, just because it's quite possible we do end up making more than one quantum quarry. And if we get a few snow globes here, it saves us from having to go back, time and time again to all of these dimensions. So we'll take 4. 4 quantum quarries together would require 80,000 redstone flux per tick. So, that seems more than what we're going to use. And we have already been to the plains biome. We'll head first, I think, through to the nether biome, because that is by far one of the easiest ones for us to find. And then at that point, I think we're probably going to have to head through into some RF Tools dimensions to try and find some of the other biomes listed on here. We can, of course, do end as well, actually, while we're here. So we need to go to 4 more biomes. I guess we can start by checking out the biomes that we have. So, all the dimensions, I guess, that we have. So we made ID 3, 106, and 82. I'm not quite sure which biomes these are, but let's start, I guess, with 82. That's our big one. The one that has all of the dimensional shards in it. This is an ocean biome. Ocean is on the list. So that's 4 there. I'm being told by the Twitch chat that we can do some Atom biomes. Apparently the Atom has kind of its own version of multiple biomes that we can go through. It looks like that does work. Like, we've just visited a forest biome, even though we're in a deadwood forest. So I guess let's just fly around in here and try and hit up a few more biomes. We already have 6 of the 7. So we only need to find one more non-forest biome here, which I think we're about to hit, even though that might be oasis and might not count. But one more non-forest biome here will seal the deal for us. Plains is not going to do it because we already have plains. And there we go. We've done it. So we now have 4 magical snow globes that are ready to go. So we can now use those if we wanted to craft 4 quantum quarries. Speaking of quantum quarries, let's go and check out our fusion multi-block. So we're at 64 there. We need a stack and a half, so we are just 13 americium away. Let's grab some more lithium and some more uranium. That shouldn't take too long. At which point we should be pretty much good to go, I think. Let's take another look here. Quantum Quarry. We do need Stoneburnt, actually, which we currently do not have. So Stoneburnt is, of course, made in the resonator from polished stone. Right now we have no stone. I'm going to request a stack. We probably should have a material stoneworks factory making stone, much like we do with sand and glass. Like using our refined storage system to make stone, like as when we need it, is almost certainly like a bad way of going about it. For now, though, let's go ahead and craft that up into stone bricks, and then craft those stone bricks up into polished stone. We need 18 stoneburnt, so 16 is actually pretty close here. We got one more set of stone bricks, we should be good to go. And we are, perfect. And this guy, by default, is quite slow. We do, of course, have enough grid power for it, but we might want to look at putting some speed upgrades into there. We do have all the Americium, which is perfect. Let's get that going over in here. Beautiful. That, in and of itself, should get us everything we need for the 6 end rods. Perfect. And that, therefore, is almost everything that we need in order to make the actuators. We're just, of course, missing the stoneburnt now, and actually it looks like we need 4 more, because we also need 4 for the quantum quarry itself. That is not going to be a problem. We'll do this and this. Perfect. Throw that in over here. So, as I was saying, we can make speed upgrades for that. They're not too difficult to make. They do require some blocks of redstone and some upgrade bases. The upgrade bases themselves do also require the resonator. So I'm going to make another resonator here. The reason for that is that I would like to get some speed upgrades going, but I don't want to interrupt the first resonator that we have. So we do need some upgrade bases. These are made with golden pressure plates. We can throw those in right about there. Right now we don't have any speed upgrades at all, which is unfortunate. But as we get these upgrade bases here, we can begin to put those in and begin to make this faster, thus allowing us to make more speed upgrades faster as we go forward. We are going to start to run into a potential grid power issue if we do add too many speed upgrades. However, we do have a dragon egg, and I don't think that getting a dragon egg mill is going to be too difficult for us. No, it's not. It is going to use up 4 of our stoneburnt, but I think that's definitely going to be worth it. Let's actually have a look here. I think we probably have pretty much everything that we need here to make this dragon egg mill. We'll make the manual mill, and then as soon as we get the 4 stoneburnt, we're just missing the eye of redstone, which is also, by the looks of it, not particularly hard to make. It's not perfect. We'll take the stoneburnt, and we'll make the dragon egg mill. We'll then, of course, put our dragon egg on it. Up until now, we've been producing about 32-ish grid power, I think, using our water mills that are over there. They kind of haven't moved since we first put them down. But now we can put down our dragon egg mill, which, again, we'll kind of hide away for now, like over here. And this guy is going to produce 500 grid power, taking us up to 548 in total, which is perfect, and thus giving us basically all the wiggle room that we could ever possibly need in terms of making speed upgrades here. So there are higher tiers of speed upgrades. There are normal ones, magical ones, and ultimate ones. They all do the same thing, like they all make machines faster, and they all make machines faster at the same rate. The difference is that you can put more magical and ultimate speed upgrades into a given machine. For example, right now we can only put 4 speed upgrades of the basic tier into a resonator. If you want to put more than 4 in, you have to go with the magical, which you can put up to 16 of in. And then if you want to go even higher than that, you have to go up to the ultimate, of which you can put up to 64 into any given machine. They are a little pricey. If you want to make the next tier, we do have to get Enchanted Ingots, which are made in the Enchanter with gold and lapis, and then Magical Apples, which are made with magical wood, or with lapis and apples in the Enchanter. Right now, we don't really have many apples. We can, of course, teach our system to make them using the Constructor, but I think, in all honesty, if we just get some of those stone bricks from around here, I think for now, 4 speed upgrades is going to be enough to get us all of the stone, but we need to make this quantum quarry. So I think 22 was the amount that we need here. Let's take a look. Quantum quarry. Do we have what it takes to make this guy? We totally do. Perfect. And do we have what it takes to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these? We totally do. Perfect. So this guy does use 20,000 redstone flux per tick, which is pretty pricey, but nothing undoable. If we get an advanced connector from XNet, these can transfer up to 100,000 redstone flux per tick. We can use this guy. Now, we are most certainly going to want to use a filter, because this basically kind of generates a quantum dimension and then just like mines that dimension out. So if you imagine a normal Minecraft world, that's what it kind of generates and then just starts digging it out. So you're going to get all kinds of stuff. You're going to get like cobblestone, dirt, andesite, granite, slate. All this stuff is going to be produced by this quarry. We can, however, use the filter here to blacklist certain items. For example, I think we're almost certainly going to want to blacklist cobblestone. What I think I might do actually is I think we might make a few filters here if we have the ability to. Yeah, 27 might be a bit excessive, but what we can do is we can go ahead and, I believe, the server catches up here. What we can do is I believe we can blacklist, we can kind of filter all of these at the same time. So we can do this and make them all blacklist cobblestone. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I think we're going to have to get a few filters going here. So let me find a temporary location for this quantum quarry. Let's temporarily put it down like right here. So we're going to go, and it's a little awkward. You have to first put down the quantum quarry itself. You can't put down the actuators unless they're onto the quarry. So we're going to have to do something like this. Then we can put down the quantum quarry, and then we can put down the actuators onto that quarry. If you try and put these down anywhere else, it just doesn't work. That does mean we're going to have to dig down just a little bit here to get here. But that should now be able to receive power just as soon as we give it to it. The machine by default will output to any chest that is connected to the quantum quarry. So you can just put this down anywhere on any of the faces and that will work. What we're then going to do is we're going to put like one of our filters here into the quantum quarry. So this is going to produce everything but cobblestone. And so now if we come on over to our controller, we head on down to the quantum quarry. And I don't think it matters where we insert this. So I'm just going to insert it on here. This has power and it's producing all kinds of junk. So we're going to take some of this junk as it comes in and we're going to start filtering the junk away, which is why I wanted this filter here. So we're going to add all of this junk to that filter here. We're then going to take one of those new junk filters and then do this. That now should stop the quantum quarry from producing all of that stuff. So now going forward, the quantum quarry shouldn't produce dirt, blue slate, andesite, granite. All of this stuff that we just filtered here should no longer be coming through here. We do want to add gravel to that. And this is the reason why I got so many filters, is that it's kind of tricky to swap it out, if that makes sense. But now I can just do this and then swap it out, and we don't end up getting like cobblestone in here when we try and swap the filters out. But this looks like it's kind of working. You'll see there's a lot of stuff coming through that we do have to filter. Like diorite still coming through, green slate is still coming through, purple slate, and dark stone, that's all still coming through. All stuff that we probably do want to add to the filter here. In fact, it's quite possible that our filter might not be big enough by the end of this, but that's how this works. And you'll see it is quite fast, actually. Like, compared to the lasers, which have been doing a pretty good job up until now, but even with all their speed upgrades, they're quite slow. Like, this produces one ore every time the work bar gets full. So it's taking quite a while to produce just the one ore, whereas over here, the quarry is producing, like, multiple blocks in that same time period. It is a little variable. Like, it depends on, you know, if it finds ores in that time. But it should definitely be a lot faster than our pre-existing laser drills. On top of that, you can, in fact, enchant the quantum quarry to be even faster. So if we can get, for example, efficiency 5 onto this quantum quarry, which we can do using our arcane ensorcelator that we made a little while back. And for now, I'm going to put this guy down, I think, again, somewhat jankily. We will move the quantum quarry, like, it's obviously not going to stay here. We'll find a new place for it. We'll also move the arcane ensorcelator fairly soon as well. But just to get this going, if we put this guy down here and we send it both mob essence and power, so we're going to insert and filter for essence. So hopefully essence is making its way in there. It totally is. Perfect. And so now, if we take some of those books that hopefully we have left over, we totally do, and we take some redstone, we should be able to start enchanting those with efficiency fairly easily. We could, if we wanted to, even go ahead and request some upgrade kits of the Signalum and Resonant variety to make this even faster. And we are going to need quite a few of these, right? We're going to need quite a few if we're going to get up to 10. We're also going to need an anvil, which I think we're going to have to make a new one of, because I think our last anvil did indeed break. But that's fine. We don't have that many levels personally, but once again, we can, if we want, utilize the XP shower as well. So I completely forgot that you can indeed eat extraterrestrial matter. You can just right-click or shift-right-click to eat its stack, and that gives you experience. Thank you to the Twitch chat for that one. That makes life actually a whole heck of a lot easier. We no longer need to have this guy at all. So I think we're basically there, right? We do 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 4. We're doing some more experience, but that's fine. We have the extraterrestrial matter coming in to help us here. So again, 3 plus 3 is 4. And then 4 plus 4, we need 27 levels. That is perfectly fine. So boom, boom, and boom. Nice. So right now, this is going pretty quickly, but not insanely quickly. We can throw this in here, and you'll see that's right away tanked through our power, because that is now using a lot more than 20,000 redstone flux per tick. And so, if we do want to run this at its maximum speed, we are, and look at that, you can see already, like, if we do it at its max speed, it's bringing in ores so much quicker than the laser drill is. So definitely a way to go. We are going to have to get more power for that. That's fine. I do want to get around, of course, to making the fusion reactor from Nuclearcraft. I think we can do that. We are going to have to set up much better ore processing. We're going to have multiple processors, multiple pulverizers, and multiple redstone furnaces to make that happen. If we want to, keep up with how fast all of this stuff is being produced. But that should allow us to more quickly get all of the singularities required to make all of the antimatter catalysts required to make the infinity ingots required to complete the pack. But with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the antimatter chemistry portion of today's stream there.